He says, this is to a group of people who are living in total suffering because they made a decision to follow Jesus. This is what he said. Remember those earlier days after you had received the light, when you were a new Christian? When you endured in a great conflict full of suffering? Sometimes you were publicly exposed to insult and persecution, and other times you stood side by side with those who were so treated. You suffered along with those in prison and joyfully accepted the confiscation of your own property because you knew that you yourselves had better and lasting possessions. So do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what he has promised. For in just a little while, he who is coming will come and will not delay. But my righteous one will live by faith. And I take no pleasure in the one who shrinks back. But we do not belong to those who shrink back and are destroyed, but to those who have faith and are saved. And I would add, those are the same ones who take joy in the God of their salvation. Habakkuk's declaration at the end of the book that says, even though the fig tree quit producing figs and the olives no longer have, the vines no longer have olives, the trees, they're over, there's no crops in the field, no flocks, no herds, the utter devastation of society and life as I know it. Even if it happens, I'll take joy in the God of my salvation. I'll take it. I think when Gary and Linda offered to sing Great is Thy Faithfulness at their son's funeral, it was their way of saying the same thing Habakkuk did. Millions of people for generations have declared their faith in the faithfulness of God when life didn't make sense with this song. So why don't you join Habakkuk? Why don't you join the Kennedys and let this be a moment of surrender? Resign from your position of trying to tell God how to run your life or run his world. And say, I don't understand it. I don't always like it. I can't figure you out. But I trust you. Come on, sing it.
Great is thy faithfulness, O God, my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not thy compassion, they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever wilt be. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me.
This is what I saw as I prepared for this moment. I knew we would be constricted on time. I knew that it was going to be tight, but in my heart I felt it's worth cramping the schedule to be obedient to God. And it was almost as if, for those of you that are in that place, that hinge moment, where you got maybe tragedy that you say, it's not like that, Pastor, it's not that bad. Or maybe from your perspective, it seems a whole lot worse. Regardless, you're at that point where you say, I don't want to live that way. I want to take joy. I want to surrender. I want to resign. I don't know how. I need God to help me. But today, I make a choice. If there's only that much difference between the doubting, critical, bitter, complaining man, mad at God, and the man that's full of faith, I want to recalibrate. I want to surrender. I want God to help me. I felt like today that if I just gave you a chance to acknowledge that to God and you could respond, move from where you are, take a step of faith. I don't care how long you serve God or how new it is or maybe never at all. And just respond and say, God, today's the hinge moment in my life. I surrender. And in your surrender, the closer you get to coming to the front, I believe the chains fall off. I believe the shackles fall off. I believe He responds to the obedience in your heart today and begins to empower you with the grace to persevere. So you don't shrink back. You take joy. I'm just being obedient today from the balcony to the floor. They're going to sing it again. If you know this is something God wants you to do, I'm not going to belabor the moment. When you get here, we're going to pray, and that's it. But just the fact that you respond in faith today and say, I'm coming to take joy. This thing is not going to define me. I'm going to trust God. If you know it's you when they sing, declare your faith in the faithfulness of God today. And
Pardon for sin, peace that endureth, thine own dear presence to cheer and to guide, strength for today, and bright hope for tomorrow. Blessings all mine with 10,000 beside. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me.
sing the bridge, Pastor Bear, that you
Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hands have provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me.
prayer team, will you help me? You're part of the staff, you're part of the prayer team. If you will just kind of, we're not here to give anybody advice this morning. We're not here to pry in anybody's business. We just want them to know, I may not even know your name, but you're not alone today. We're scotching for you. We're holding out for you. We're trusting God with you today. Pastor Bear wrote a bridge to this song today, and I'm just going to ask you to get it in your heart today before we move on. I'm going to speak a blessing over you today. This is my heart. Prayer team, staff, you're my hands extended today. Father, will you bless them and keep them? You make your face shine down upon them. Will you be gracious to them? Will you turn your countenance their direction, God? And for the first time ever, or for the first time in a long time, will you help them find peace today? Help make sense. Give them the grace to trust when it doesn't make sense. In Jesus' name. In Jesus' name.
You are kind, faithfulness, none can. Every day, every night, through the storms, through the fires, you are love, you are kind, faithfulness, none can deny. Every day, every night, through the storm.